Well, this is it, 4935A. This will be my address days, as I actually lived for a while in Venice, one of the strangest, most wonderful cities yet devised by human beings. Look at that door. And there's the doorbell. Won't ring it because I'm not home yet. Just wanted to show you the lay of the land before we step inside. 500-year-old bricks, and they look it, don't they? Look at this. This house built around 1450, when the Venetian Empire was just beginning its slow but steady decline as one of the most powerful in history. Every window heavily shuttered in wood, as is the custom throughout this part of the world, shuttered against the cold northern winds of the winter Adriatic, and quite effectively against the outside world as well. The house is on this little campiello, which is a small campo, which is in itself a small square. All right, one more time. A campo is a small square, a campiello is an even smaller square. And this one belongs to St. Anthony. As we sneak a peek into his shrine here, let's see, there he is. The Venetians take their icons very seriously, and they're usually religious in nature. Unlike other cities, the Venetians have been reluctant to cast statues in the likeness of their own favorite sons. The state itself had more importance than any mere individual. Apparently it worked for them. No Caesar or Napoleon ever came out of Venice, and they ruled by an intricate and secretive council. More on this later. Just got to sneak a peek at the canal here. We're in a real neighborhood, not many tourists around here. Reverse angle shot to the front of the house and the fundamenta, that's the walkway next to the canal. Check this out, this is so cool. A great example of a Venetian warehouse. Imagine stuff from the Far East being unloaded here. Spices and furs and jewels, all manner of exotic things that all of Europe was hungry for. The Venetians sailed far away and brought the stuff back here to be stored and then sold to the highest bidder, the greatest price the shrewd Venetians could exact from the rest of the Western world. And always the water, always licking at the very foundations of the place. Okay, another shot of our canal, and then we'll enter the house. Quick pan, and then I'll do a tilt of the whole house here. All right, a tilt up of this building. The second floor is the expensive apartment, got a piano no less. And the third floor is the best view, looking out over the rooftops. My personal choice. But couldn't afford it. But what the hell, we'll do fine on the ground floor here. If the bricks hold, that is. Forget the stucco, that's for decoration. As long as the bricks stay in place, they're 500 years old, but I guess that's a pretty good track record, so I'm not going to worry about them. Okay, time to get inside. Got to have a kip and a wash-up, as the Brits would say. A power nap and a shower to you. There it is, a quick nod to Campiello San Antonio. Hundreds of these shrines tucked away throughout Venice, always with fresh flowers, it seems. Like the tens of thousands of wild cats in this city, the shrines are well cared for by the Venetians. There he is, St. Anthony. A good man to have on your side, I guess, in case you ever need him. Okay, back to the front door and the side. Quick peek at the brick again. Just, pardon me for obsessing about this brick, but it's so old. Not to worry, though. The wall is numerous bricks thick, I expect. God, look at that. Okay, time to tackle the door. Reach into my pocket for the key. The instructions say 2 full turns to the right, followed by a 1 millimeter further turn, and it should open. If the damp hasn't caused the door to swell in an unfortunate direction. Let's see. Okay, not bad so far. And 1 millimeter. Oh, okay. I did it. First time out of the chute. All right. And let's see. This must be the kitchen, of course. Well, I got to take a nap. It's still early, though. We'll see lots of Venice today, including the interior of the apartment a little bit later. 40 winks and an hour later, and we have this scene in front of us. Quintessential Venice. Gondola, gondolier, and tourist, all floating jauntily on the Grand Canal here near the Accademia Bridge. One of only 3 across the Grand Canal. Of the 400 or so Venetian bridges, only 3 big enough to span this stretch of water. Let's stay here a moment as the scene plays out. Shall we have some music? Yeah, I think so. A little light opera, I think, would be in order. Maestro, if you please. I used to be a purist in my travelogues. No music, only cinema verite. You heard and saw on the street only what I did. But no matter how good the camera or microphone, no matter how good the shooter and talker, being physically present in the place and space was still better than watching it on a television. So I add a little music, and I selectively shoot with telephoto and wide angle with pan and tilt. I use these conventions to bring you here, right here with me. It's called art. Sometimes music is redundant, as Venice provides its own soundtrack. This is the place if you like abstracts. Venice began in earnest just after Rome fell and Attila the Hun was terrorizing Europe. The people came here to this inhospitable place and floated a city on 118 low swampy islands. They drove tree trunks into the wet soil to support the buildings and kept the space between the islands as their watery streets. To this day, everything that comes in and out of this place does so by boat, echoing the exploits by ship of days past, days spent navigating the treacherous shoals to another distant world and bringing back treasures of great wealth, and then continuing their commanding mastery of the water at home by building upon it and living within it. The Venetians breathed the water they knew so well. La Serenissima, they called it here in this place, the serene city of Venice. La Serenissima. I've also learned over the years, I hope, to sometimes let you form your own opinions about the sights and sounds in front of you. Though you wouldn't guess it from this video so far, I do like to stop the play-by-play occasionally and let you experience it for yourself. Check out this shop. See anything you like? They're trinkets and baubles, sure, but Venice has got the highest class tourist crap in the world. These are the taxis of Venice, looking like those great Chris Craft boats of the 50s. Pristinely maintained, all natural wood and brass, and prohibitively expensive. Now, one travels by water bus in Venice, the Vaporetto, unless you can afford to splurge on a taxi. Water and stone arch of a bridge, add some sun, and you've got a little corner of magic. And a pan to the left shows the latest ad campaign. Lingerie ads on the trash bins. The French may have invented ooh la la, but the Italians are not shy about their goddesses either. Besides, making a lira or two off of sex has always been a fair game in Italy. Art shot. Music up if you please. about the expensive taxis, a gondola ride will set you back about 60 or 70 bucks as well. But here, a cheap thrill at certain spots along the Grand Canal, there are sort of gondola ferries that'll take you to the other side for a minimal fee. The poor man's gondola ride. Short, but oh so sweet. This is a northern Italian city, not the sun-bathed landscape of Rome or the south. Venice in the summertime can be stiflingly hot, but here in early March, it is warming and welcome. Well, I see old 895A has got an entryway that'd be recognized by someone a half a millennium ago. Not the street number, perhaps, but certainly this door. Look at that. Appropriate fittings for its statue and girth, and at the bottom, eaten away by time and damp. Patched a few times, but holding firm against the ravages of the elements. Artist at work. So pleasant to see the shopkeepers actually working on their wares instead of simply buying and displaying them with 100% markup or more. And these people actually put paint to paper maché that is, in their masks, and to the wood in their puppets. Again, though, the hand of the artisan does not come cheap. A genuine article will set you back a few 100,000 lira, or considerably fewer euros now that they're on the new currency. Beautiful stuff in the genuine articles. Well, I won't guess the age of these timbers, but medieval or early Renaissance wouldn't be a bad guess, I suppose. Oh boy, more paper maché in a workshop. Let's window peep. These young people probably live in Mestre, the great giant sprawl on the other side of the lagoon. Yeah, they probably live in Mestre and commute into Venice every day. Can't afford to live here, no doubt. Hello. Ciao. Good stuff. Kate Hepburn frolicked in front of this church in the David Lean film Summertime. And Indy Jones came up through the pavers here in the third film in the series. Another original old shop filled with the smell of paste and paper. With a sleepy sentinel here. Let's see if we can eavesdrop on some kitty dreams. The cat wasn't even bothered. With typical Venetian insouciance, this cat completely ignored me. I am a tourist after all. And this guy here, like the cat, is unmistakably a Venetian. Nope, never even gave me a glance. Let's spy on some social intercourse here, shall we? Focus in there. Venetians, like most Italians, smoke like Vesuvius, the coolness factor trumping the health risk, apparently. The Venetians have many dishes and foods unique to themselves. Their cuisine is based heavily on the delicacies they pull out of the lagoon. Squid in its own ink, to name but one. To play it safe, order a panini, per favore, prosciutto e formaggio, e Coca-Cola, per favore, which will get you a ham and cheese sandwich and a Coke. The Coke costs more than the local glass of Prosecco wine, but what the hell, we're Americans. We wash our squid down with Coke. And for dessert, it's gelato. The Italians know how to do ice cream, that's for sure. Let's see what we got here. Well, licorice flavor? I don't think so. Anglaise? Oh, that's either British or American. Cafe? No, I don't like coffee. Tiramisu? Well, yeah, okay, I know that one. There's a lot of pointing and gesturing going around this place. Best to stick to chocolate, lest you get fish-flavored gelato by mistake. Back in the apartment now to get some fresh batteries. Might as well show you around real quick. There's the shrine to St. Anthony, standing guard over the Campiello. Great shot through the Venetian blinds, no less. And a quick escape from the sprawl of the bedroom brings us to the living room. If I can negotiate my way through the doorway here. 3 foot wide, 3 foot thick walls here. And another view to the outside. This is the hot water boiler right here in the kitchen, looking like a Rube Goldberg concoction. Svelta Maxigene gel for the dishes. What else we got here? Oh, some various recognizable things. Let's see. Bosch, big name in Europe, not so big back home. And the drug of choice in Venice, Bacardi 151. Half the weight, twice the buzz. Every evening in San Marco, I buy a Coke from the American bar and splash 151 proof across my databanks. On the Strada in front of a video store. Let's see what's playing this week. Okay. Scooby-Doo. That's recognizable in any language, I suppose. A little bit harder to differentiate that one. El Dorado. Il Dottor Zhivago. What else we got here? Quasi-famous. Almost famous. What else? Cape Fear, that translated all right. Film Festival. Final Fantasy, The Matrix, those are easy to understand. What else we got good? Chocolat, yeah, that's easy enough. Venezia, La Luna e Tu, The Moon and You. Libra de Can. Yeah, that's... the name is the same, anyway. Gabo de Notre Dame. E Simpson. Simpson. Il Padrino. Lord of the Rings. And Breakfast at Tiffany's. Fine Italian leather. Fine materials, finest design. Eyeglasses for the stars, or any poser with $100. Another cafe or bar here. Let's check it out. The Venetians love their version of a fast food joint. It's just as quick as ours, but a little classier, with assorted wines and bits of foodstuffs on offer. Much more civilized than a burger and fries. But I'll make no excuses for Mickey D, the King, or Little Wendy. Their food is hot, it's fast, it's tasty and nutritious. Well, tasty anyway. And you can drive right up and they'll load it right into your lap. That's what I call fast food. the Grand Canal by the Scalzi Bridge. Every once in a while, in a foreign place, your senses are so attuned that you'll be struck with things ironical or beautiful or striking in some way. And occasionally, you'll happen upon a moment that is all three at the same time. And at that time, words fail. Digging up the sidewalk in Venice. Look at that. Water is everywhere in this town. Up, down, and all around. Sudden hailstorm validates the water from above principle. The hail has modulated to a gentle rain, enough to smear a lens, so my brolly is still up. Uh-oh, what's this? I heard someone coming through the doorway. We got a local in action here. I tell you, these doors in Venice are no pushovers. You really got to finesse them. But she made it. Well, the rain has stopped, the sun's popped out, and the birds are going nuts. Let's take a stroll through a campo, this one being Santa Margherita, I think. Let's just listen to the sounds as we travel through space. That guy gave me the eye. Whoa. Don't see that anymore. Fur still worn with pride. Okay, that was a great walk through a campo, but let's try a narrow alley now, this one being a major thoroughfare, believe it or not. Uh-oh, got some action here. We got a pigeon, pigione. Let's follow her a while and see what she's up to. Cutting a rather striking figure through the narrow passageways here. Some of the shops shuttered for the midday break. They'll reopen till late tonight. Let's stretch time fast forward to endgame. Oh, she went into the bar. Well, so long, Pigione. What's around this corner here? More of the same. Whoop, warp drive again. Good place to end this shot. Let's find a good place to end this shot. Oh, one of the 1,000 watery corners in Venice. Now, grocery shopping in a foreign land, always a revelation. This woman here knows to put on the plastic gloves provided before she handles the fruit and veg, lest she receive an admonition from the grocer. No, no, signore, per favore. Won't make that mistake again. Nor will I pick up a magazine in an outside newsstand. A country as demonstrative and emotional as Italy won't let you touch the goods. This is the North, after all, and it is Venice. Ciao. A place apart, only united with the rest of Italy in 1860-something, after all. Plenty of tomato products. But the tomato is not the heart of the Venetian cuisine. That's more southern Italian culinary art. This is what you're faced with in a foreign land. Tartar sauce for the fish tonight, right? Salsa boscaiola with fungus mushrooms. With mushrooms? No, this isn't it. What the hell? Maybe mayo would be okay on the fish. They put it on French fries throughout Europe. What's this? See, what the hell is this? Pickle relish? Sweet or sour? Uh-oh. Will the idiot in aisle 1 please put down the relish? Okay, what else we got here? Uh-oh, there's the bullet-eyed grocer again. Best avoid his gaze. Now she's trying to decide on the 50 varieties of biscotti. Looks like she's trying to make up her mind. There's no help on the labels here for the English-speaking tourist. You gotta look at the pictures on the wrapper and see if that helps. But even if you determine it's a carton of milk, is it skim, 2%, goat milk, soy milk, chocolate? Looks like she got what she needs. 14 varieties of olive oil. I expected no less. I'll get you a closer look here. Pick it up and look like I'm scrutinizing the label, all the while holding it right in front of the camera for you. Cheese counter. I don't think I'll brave this one. No, I best stay away from this one. Okay, here's something I know. Bread. Let's see. Molino Bianco, pane soya, morbido, what the hell? I just want a loaf of bread. Whole grain would be nice. Okay, here's one. Al grano duro. There's that morbido again. I can only assume that's a good thing. Oh well. Durable bread? Grain? My turn to stare at the biscuits. All right, let's check out the kid action at the checkout. He seems safely isolated from the goods. Uh-oh, Mom's distracted. Here comes the basic reach and grab. Oh, looks like he's got one. Yes! Oh no, Mama breaks the play and shoves a package into view. Nicely done, Mama. She never even broke stride with the packing either. Mama Juan Bambino Zip. In any language, in all cultures, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the checkout girl. Look at me, hidden camera and bagging at the same time. Outdoors at the fruit stand, under the piercing gaze of the fruit ladies, lest I make an unprotected lunge for an apple or an orange. Que bella, ciao, babe, don't touch the fruit. Lesson number 10 in a foreign country, expect to make mistakes, but make them only once. And by the time you leave, you may know how to behave like a native. Until you open your mouth, that is. What the hell are they talking about? I'm going to tilt down to an archway, which is the only bit left of Marco Polo's original house. An archway he would recognize instantly, no doubt. Track in for a closer shot here. This has survived from the 1200s, ladies and gentlemen. think it's been redone. Doesn't look that old. More white trash. More garbage bins with trashy underwear. One more time. More trash bins with white girls in underwear. Thank you. Here comes the equivalent of a semi-truck. Gondolas have the ultimate right-of-way around the city, but try telling that to this guy. Barreling that 18-blader down the canal. Keep the open side up, Gino. He calls at the corners to announce his coming, to blind traffic around the corner. There he goes. Oh, he waved to somebody. What's going on here? Whoa. Look at that. Serendipity. Look at that. Happens all the time in this place. Just aim your camera on something and something else totally unexpected will seduce your attention. And there comes a little rat bastard around the corner. Gondolier. Showing him on. You're not supposed to pass a gondola on the oar side. You'll incur the wrath of a gondolier, but this guy doesn't seem to be doing too badly. Gelato. Don't know what it was. Looked good, so I pointed at it. Cherry, I think. Standing on the Rialto Bridge. I gotta show you something. Carnival was a couple of weeks ago, their version of Mardi Gras. The entire city full of merriment, and this proves it down here at my feet. This obscure little bit of Venice covered in confetti. Ooh, must be quite a bash. Look at that. This stuff will last a long time. The much beloved Vaporetto, plural, Vaporetti, the water buses. Punctual, always on time. Accurate, they've got radar for foggy nights. And the only cheap conveyance through Venice. Everything that the rest of the world must do gets done in Venice, only a little differently, a little more creatively sometimes. Here's their version of a cement truck. Imagine that. Again, everything in Venice, from fruit and veg to concrete, must move by boat. This guy's keeping the cement soft while waiting for the bucket on the end of the crane over there to load up and be deposited way over the, across the rooftops there. But in the meantime, the beer delivery boat must be allowed to move in and unload. No problem. The bucket's in place, and he's going to load it up. Now they'll lift it high above the life on the street as Venice barely notices a most unique solution to an intricate problem. They're going to cover that bucket to prevent spatters on passers-by below. What a world with such a city in it. What a world. We're in the sestiere of Dorso Duro now, a quiet part of Venice. I shot many of the scenes from my movie Afternoon in Venice here in Dorso Duro. Came upon this gallery. Check out these paintings. Talk about paint by numbers. I love The opening scene of Afternoon in Venice, my movie, was filmed here. If you squint, you might be able to see the numbers in the bricks. Where's the 151 when you need it? I get it. I think I get it. Okay, the bottle of wine has something to do with it, I'm sure. Here's some hearty souls practicing their oarsmanship. She reminds me of Gina from my other movie shot in Venice, Fallen Angels. Inside, Salute now. They built this church to commemorate the end of a horrible plague in the 1600s. We can't imagine such a terrible thing today. Ah, Salute, one of the best scenes in Venice. One of many, many gorgeous scenes. The post office. Everything moving on the water, of course. Are you getting the point about Venice? It has all the functions and services as any city, but it's all a little more fluid, shall we say. And if things aren't done right, a little more wet. Of course, anything sent to or from the entire country of Italy has only a 50% chance of arrival. Those Italians. But they sure are classy. Let's watch the gondoliers getting ready for the evening rides. Probably large groups of Japanese tonight. Used to be us Americans, but now only the Japanese are willing to afford the luxury of serenaded gondola rides en masse with 20 or 30 of their countrymen. One of the few statues in Venice, in a gallery courtyard, of course. All right, let's see who lives here. Whose bell shall we ring here? Okay, who is it? The gallery? Castari? Tognazzi? No, I don't know anybody here. Salute from the Accademia Bridge again. Day giving way slowly to dusk, and Venice about to transform into yet another entity. The Vaporetti plying their reliable way on the watery highway. These guys still at it. Are those the same guys? Must be a big race or event coming up. If I lived here full time, I'd know. Two taxis chatting as they go. Costs $125 to have one of these take you to the airport. The Vaporetto's about $6 and an eon or two slower. Ah yes, the old shell game, Italian style. The shell or cardmeister running the show and a plant or two in the crowd to entice the unsuspecting rubes.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where is the ball? Dove la palla? Questi qui stanno. And 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Dove? Questi, where is the ball? Dove? Io la vedo. Me too.
A trick as old as the stones themselves. San Marco in deep dusk, my favorite approach to it. Napoleon called it Europe's drawing room, or the finest drawing room in Europe, something like that. I love this square, piazza to be exact. It's so complete, so perfect. And after the Pigione and the tourists have gone, so serene. Add a little fog and it's mystical. Add some music from a nearby cafe and it's sublime. You will perhaps recall my earlier travelogues, Postcards from Venice. Reference them for more facts and figures on this place. Here we're just hanging, we're living in Venice. Going to stand on my self-proclaimed navel of San Marco. Only someone buzzed on 151 would do this. But here goes. Let's see if I can find it. It's what I consider to be the center of this piazza. Let's see if I can find it in my present state. Okay, here goes. Here it is. The center of the universe right now. Quite the best place in the world to be. And to prove that I was here, there I am. And inside these buildings, behind these marvelous facades, a jeweled watch movement of culture and social manners. Let's peek in. Here's where I buy my Cokes for 151 Chaser. The American Cafe right on San Marco. Sometimes, if I'm shooting a movie in Venice, I'll buy 6 or 8 of them to divvy up among cast and crew. The best times are shared 151 moments in San Marco at dusk. Of course, with all the other delicacies and delectables to be had in this joint, they must think me a rube to always buy Coke. But what the hell, it's the American Cafe, right? And I'm an American, so set 'em up, Giuseppe. We got a powerful thirst. Look at all this beautiful stuff. Chocolates and wines of every sort. But we'll take the old familiar red and white, please. Ah. Well, night has fallen and I'm winding down now, heading home. Just had to show you the shop window. What's wrong with this picture? Anything? Huh? A little closer shot shows us a careful misplacement of adornment. Oh, those Italians. A bartender who drinks? Check this guy out. La Dolce Vita. The guy on the right's discussing politics, no doubt. They've changed governments a million times since the war here in Italy. Whoa. Another bartender who drinks. You go, girl. And go, signora. And if you're really homesick, you can stuff your gob with a familiar repast, sounding only slightly different in Italian. McChicken, Big Mac, cheeseburger, yeah, those sound similar. What's all that? Doppio cheese? What's that? Patatine? Patatine? San Marco Piazza is surrounded by some great cafes on the lower level of the square. This is the famous Florian Cafe. Just look at the furnishings and accoutrements. She's quite happy to get a room by themselves. Want a cup of cappuccino? Got $10. Worth it, I guess. Look at that. Another room in Florian's. And yet another. These guys don't look like they're discussing trade quotas. Franco-Prussian animosities in the 18th century, perhaps. Or Titian versus Tintoretto, who was the master of color, who of form. Sorry, it's the 151 talking. Wow, I was on my way home and I stumbled upon one of my favorite eateries in Venice, a self-service restaurant. Look at this. Real Italian food without extortionist prices. You point to a plate, they heat it up for you, and you pay the cashier and you feed your face. Yeah, I'm gonna stop. I gotta do it. And here's the menu. Best avoid the Venetian dishes, squid and ink and that sort of thing. Stick with the southern cuisine, spaghetti and ravioli. 20 minutes later, we survey the scene here at the, the cat query? The cat who laughed? The cat who barked like a dog? The cat? Never mind, I'm an American. Non parlo l'italiano. Parla inglese? Anyone? Huh? Speak English? Yes? No. Well, it's been a full day, I'd say, but I'm losing it. Gotta head for home. The walkways of Venice at night are a dazzle of light and reflected sound. Have you noticed another byproduct of the lack of vehicular traffic? The only sounds you hear are voices echoing off stone walls or footfalls along narrow corridors, or near the Grand Canal, boats chugging and sloshing their way through the liquid streets. No overall din of the combustion engine in this place, that underlying white noise of every other city, and none of those bloody Vespas piercing the oral center of every other European city. Some shops gated, not shuttered, till the morning, casting sharp shadows along our way. Venice is great in the off-season. It's the first week in March now. I wouldn't come here in summer. Too many of us tourists, way too hot, with little air-conditioned relief. And the smell from the canals, well, now is quite the best time to come. It's cheaper too, as Gina heads into the pizza joint here. Wonder if she ever goes to the cat who ran away with the spoon. No tourists here, just us locals now. Those of us with keys to big old wooden doors. Those of us who are living in Venice. Home now, the Campiello San Antonio. Pay our respects and head in for the night. Out of the damp, cool air into the cozy bosom of a Venetian flat. Enjoyed having your company today. See you next time in some place or other. Ciao, babies. Sweet dreams. Dreams of La Serenissima. Dreams of Venice. Good night.